we just currently going through this collective detachment from what we truly are. So I invite everyone to really come back, to reconnect, to find yourself.
The intense stress that peak performers put on themselves, you've found a way to sort of mitigate that.
Yeah, it's redefining what peak performance means to you. In society, it's usually people understand it as productivity, producing more and more outcomes. But for me, peak performance is not about that. It's really doing things from your heart at peace.
All right, let's go deeper into Lyme disease.
Okay. What would you like to hear? Now, Lyme has been a huge learning curve. Before, if patients would say I have Lyme or co-infections, I wouldn't take them. I would send them to someone with years of experience, some Lyme literary doctor, because you have to be good at it. There are so many nuances. It's so complex. And now here we go. For me, it's been a huge learning curve. I've just been diagnosed 4 months ago. And it explained so many symptoms, so many symptoms. It's been a missing piece to the puzzle why I'm not healing from mold. And it's very common that people who have mold illness, they have Lyme, or people who have Lyme, they are super mold sensitive. I mean, mold is so spread out, it's everywhere, so it's more common than not, those two things. So when you're healing, you have to address both of them, usually, in most cases. So, yeah, I was not responding well to my mold protocol, and my doctor said, you know what, you probably have Lyme. I see that in patients because you're not tolerating your treatment. And I'm like, Lyme, me? I had some thoughts that I may have Lyme or co-infections 5 years ago based on my symptoms. But I did what every conventional medicine doctor would do. I did all the tests available. I went to every lab, I tested, and because these tests are so incomplete, they all gave false negative. And then it tricked me into thinking that, okay, this is not a root cause, I don't have it. And it happens to so many people. They always do the most available tests that their personal care provider runs or infectious disease doctor runs, and they all false negative. But you need a specific test. You need a good test. Lyme is such a great imitator. It also, over the time, damages your immune system to the point that if you're looking IgG, IgM, if you're looking for it, you won't detect it because Lyme suppressed it. The bacteria is so smart. It doesn't want your immune system to fight against it. So that's why it's undiagnosed, misdiagnosed for so many people. So I still got my diagnosis. I mean, it's probably been around, as I said, for 15, 16 years, but only last year has been the worst because COVID also contributed to that. Also, why some people get long COVID and other people don't, it's also because they have some priming events. They probably had some dormant Lyme. They probably had some mold. So it's all so connected, and it's a cascade. So, and other people who were not exposed, let's say, to mold, did not have toxicity, they don't develop long COVID. So when you have one of these chronic conditions, you want to get the full picture, not only, oh, it's only long COVID, it's only Lyme. There is a full picture and few things at play. Lyme, again, it doesn't come in one infection. People think about Lyme as Borrelia. It always a bouquet of infections, viral and bacterial. It's Babesia, Bartonella, HHV6, there's so many of them. Epstein-Barr virus is one of the major contributors as well. So you have to address it all, and there's no one way. It's so complex because there are so many different protocols. There are amazing Lyme literary MDs who created protocols that are highly effective. They are still not effective to everyone. For some people, antibiotics saved their life, brought them back to life. For some people, it made things worse, way worse. Maybe they felt good for the first few months while they were on antibiotics, and then started feeling really bad, even worse than before. I'm talking all about chronic Lyme. Acute Lyme, it's a different story. But you want to treat that if there is a recent tick bite, you want to address that right away. Before I wasn't that convinced if you should do antibiotics if there's, let's say, no rash. Even if there's no rash, it's better to treat it because rash does not show up. The Lyme rash, the erythema, it does not show up in many cases. So you want to go on antibiotics and not 1 week, longer. You want to do it longer. But when it comes to chronic Lyme, these infections perhaps been weakening your body slowly for years. So then it's a whole different treatment.
Wow. So acute Lyme and chronic Lyme. That's what it's, you
Yeah.
didn't realize you had it.
Yeah.
Now you're in this, you've got it and you're dealing with it. You don't know what the symptoms are.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that. Is the only way that a human being can contract Lyme is through a tick bite?
No, it's very common from to pass for mom to pass to her child. It can be, so let's say Bartonella, it's considered Lyme co-infection, and ticks carry it, but also fleas carry it, and cat scratches and transfer it to you with its nails. So through like nail scratch, it's tricky. I grew up so many pets, and probably I got this Bartonella not even from a tick, but perhaps even earlier. But Bartonella is the most difficult to diagnose and to treat. It's called cat scratch disease.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it could cause issues with vision and all sorts of things.
Yeah, it can cause similar neurological symptoms like Lyme borrelia, like mold. Symptoms are so overlapping. There are no actual very specific symptom that you could pinpoint, oh, this is actually Babesia, this is actually Bartonella. There are symptoms that could tell you more that, yes, if you have pain in your feet, like burning pain, that's most likely Bartonella, but it can happen with other co-infections. Ear hunger, most likely it's Babesia, and severe anxiety, most likely it's Babesia, but not necessarily. It can be Bartonella, it can be there ever. So it's very
ear hunger.
Yes.
What is this?
When you can't inhale, you inhale and you still want more oxygen, and you're never satisfied. You never feel like you got enough oxygen. I had episodes of that on and off.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you get to a spot where I remember one time I was on the stationary bike and I'm riding, and all of a sudden I'm like, I can't catch my breath.
Yeah.
I had to get off. I go to the window, like that's going to make any difference. Like the window was already open.
Yeah.
And I was completely breathless. It freaked me out.
Right. But mold can do the same, Let's say if a person is more sensitive and a person visited an airport or some other facility with lots of mold, and same day or next day experiencing ear hunger. So that can happen as well.
So there are multiple forms of Lyme. I didn't know that.
It's called Lyme and co-infections. Yeah, so it's co-infections. It's never one infection.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's what makes them so difficult to treat then, and people really suffer from it for so long.
Yeah, so it brings us back more to terrain theory versus germ theory, because it's the abnormal terrain. It's not functioning how it should. Your immune system is not keeping them at bay, these pathogenic bacteria, and letting them manifest and overgrow. So we have to address also immune system and cytokine storm. Cytokine storm is what many people suffered so badly during COVID. They learned what is cytokine storm from the experience, but Lyme infection flare-ups cause the same thing. Then you get brain inflammation. Mold causes similar things. So yeah, you have to regulate immune system too.
So when we say terrain, are we talking about the gut and the brain connection too? Is that or
terrain? It's all the bacteria, viruses, everything within us. Human body has over 3 trillion viruses, something like that. It's like crazy amount. I would say 3 billion just to be correct, but I think it's more than that, and then so much bacteria in it. But everything has to be in balance. It's impossible not to have any pathogenic bacteria. but it has to be balanced. So many people got tick bites during their lifetime and never realized and never got a single symptom because their immune system is functioning as it should and keeping those infections from overgrowth. So then it never manifests in something that your body cannot keep up with any longer. So for those people, let's say they do extensive testing just out of curiosity but not experiencing symptoms, they may find Lyme, they may find Bartonella babesia, but there's no point to treat them if a person is feeling well.
So you see a lot of patients. What in your panel of patients comes to you and they're kind of lucky to get in? Who are the patients that you typically wind up seeing? What are they trying to achieve in their health?
So patients are usually already somewhat familiar with this model because integrative medicine is basically integrating Western and we call it alternative, but it should not be called alternative. It's the medicine. So it's integrating is both, I would say, pharmaceutical and non-pharmaceutical medicine. So these people are usually somewhat familiar. They've probably been dismissed by Western medicine. They could not find answers with their personal care providers, and they are still experiencing these symptoms like stubborn weight, hormone imbalances, PMS. Most of my clients are the men, but I do work with men as well. Gut issues, puffiness, swelling, like just feeling unwell, where it bothers you, or you see that your body is like something wrong is happening more and more, but you don't have answers. So that's the people I work with, and they usually they do their own search. They find me through all the courses I've taken through these networks or word of mouth, like even from close circle. Almost everyone needs a little bit of help. Almost everyone. Uh, it just, of course, it's very difficult to work with like family because they don't listen. So super close people to me, I don't take them as a patients. I give up on that. Like I give all the medical advice to my family, but I'm not any like authority and it's not paid, so they don't listen for things they don't pay for,
So when patients come to you, you start working with them. They usually have some sort of condition or have some sort of goal in mind. You start out with the testing and then, this long kind of getting to know them. You develop a relationship with the patient, which is hard to do sometimes with people. Do you feel like patients always tell you the truth about everything that they're doing, or do they withhold?
You hold. And that's okay. Maybe next consultation they're gonna tell about it. But yes, it's a process, it's a commitment. Myself, I'm on both sides. I'm a doctor, but I'm a patient because of this last mold exposure and Lyme disease. And I would love to bring more doctors on board, even for myself. But every time you start with a new doctor, it's a process. It's like a relationship, in a way. You get to know each other. It's not it's not cheap and so on, and you give time. And then also trying their protocols. You don't know if it's gonna be right for you or not. So um, the best way to find out if you're a good match is first 15 minutes free consultation. You see if you're a good match with a client. I ask them if they are committed and if they're willing to put work and effort because there's going to be a lot of lifestyle changes. We are not going to medicate symptoms. And then I see if I can help in their cases because there are cases, let's say oncology, like I don't work with that. If they want, I can support with some other parts, but everything is so delicate in oncology, so I usually don't take these patients. But if there is a demand in the future, I'm very willing to learn and then, open that possibility as well to other people. So it's really an honest conversation if I can help you and if you are willing to commit and work.
So what's for you in your pathway to peak performance? You've achieved a lot. It seems like you're on the cusp of something really big. I don't know what it is, and I'm not trying to like guess the weight at the carnival here. But what what I'm sensing from you is that there's something that's big is about to happen for you. I'm curious, what do you feel that it is?
Ooh, I'm also very curious. You know, um, this chronic illness, I went through the hardest times, but it's been blessing in disguise as well. It's been extremely transformative. I'm not the same person I was 3 years ago. I'm not the same person I was a year ago or 6 months ago. I'm still changing, and I'm just fascinating to see this. I'm finding so much peace in the world. I was always this high achiever, go, 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 do it, do it, do it. It slowed me down to such peace that I'm enjoying so much. I started living slower, doing everything slower. We'll see. But I accomplished just as much as, and I was like running around and all over the place. And besides medicine, keeping so many other interests and hobbies and traveling, like been almost to 70 countries and most of them, like many of them multiple times. So like always exploring. I had so much curiosity and I still have so much curiosity for life. But I explored outer world, and then I really last 3-4 years I explored inner world, inner traveling and all those realms. It's been so interesting. And now I'm just being, just being, observing, doing things in harmony, truthful to myself, like really coming back to myself because growing up and through life, when you're discovering yourself, you get so conditioned by other people's lives, ideas, and everything. And some people can be huge inspiration, which is incredible because they encourage you to accomplish great things or at least try. But there's a fine line when you realize, oh, I'm living someone else's life. I'm not living my own life. My life is different. Even with family members, I have such beautiful and close relationship with my sister to the point where like, am I living their life or my own life? So I really had to like, this chronic illness has been isolating. It took me out of that. Like it's been a lonely and isolating place because no one can see what you're going through. No one can relate. I would have never been able to relate until a couple of years ago what really means chronic illness, what chronic fatigue means. It's not being tired. It's like it's beyond. And probably it was needed for my soul to rebuild myself from zero. And it's still in progress, but it's unfolding so beautifully that I'm in a way grateful to this, to whatever happened. I'm at peace. Before it was a little bit, I would say, traumatic, and parts of it can still be if I would have to go through mold again, although I would know how to deal with it much better. Um, but I'm at peace with everything what happened. So what's next? We'll see. But whatever it is, it will come from the core, from like really what I am, not others' ideas, not from what other thinks what success is, what doctor's career should be, what successful women's life should look like. Having career, having kids, having everything figured, it's never everything. But we'll see. It's a good question.
Yeah, it's so cool, right? I mean, I think the secret to life, and somebody, I can't remember who it was, but just recently said to me, like, the secret to life is figuring out who you are,
Yeah.
really getting down to knowing exactly who you are. And just like the patient being truthful with the doctor, if people can be truthful with themselves about what they really want, break free of, oh, I need to do this because I need to please my parents, I need to do this, could be amazing, right?
Right. And these programs run subconsciously. Consciously, you think you're doing everything you right for yourself, but it's not necessarily. You really have to ask deeper questions. Really go to this uncomfortable place. And I was never avoiding it, but chronic illness brought me so deep to that place. Like it brought everything to the surface. I mean, I wish there was easier path, but it is what it is. And it's still like it's a never-ending process. I can't say like, oh, like now I have everything figured out. I just approach things differently and with so much curiosity and peace and acceptance. But things are still unfolding.
Yeah. So do you think you'll stay in the United States? What do you think? I mean, I didn't know that you had gone to 70 different countries. That's pretty wild. 70 different countries?
I had so much curiosity. I think everything worked out perfectly. Like growing up in relatively small country, population is 3 million. I was super outgoing during my teenage years, and I think I took everything I could from the country. I maximized all the experiences, activities, everything. And then it happened that they started these extremely cheap flights. So me as like 16 years old, instead of going to a bar and spending, I don't know, 100 euros, you can do a weekend trip somewhere, or like couple trips. Like me and my friends, we would book, oh, this is like this month we going here and there, and the next month here and there, just for a few days. In medical school, I squeezed in we did not have a lot of time off, like at all, but I would squeeze in wherever I could so I could travel, see the world, and yeah, I've been really fascinating. I would go to random places. I just open a map and like, oh, this looks like in the middle of nowhere. Let me go there. Let me see how people live there. Like I'm stayed by myself in Asia. First I went with my sister, when I stayed there by myself. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Let me get a scooter. Let me like explore. Let me do this. So always had this curiosity, and you learn so much about yourself. People think, oh, traveling is to learn about other cultures, but it's really you learn about yourself, your own culture. You have something to compare it to instead of only seeing one version of life. When you see how people, let's say, live, I don't know, in Indonesia, then you understand your people in your country better because you compare, you have a reference point, and same with your own personality. When you see how life can be approached differently, what we label as good and bad in other places, it's not necessarily good and bad. So it taught me a lot, but as I said, I slowed down, and then it was more like inner traveling and inner reflections. I still have, well, like, I'm still very passionate about all these things. It's just I don't have this like energy of like hungry 18 years old. Like I could travel sleepless, like without any rest, hop from country to country. Like now I need some rest and in between, which is like normal.
And that's really interesting, that inner traveling.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah, because we can hyper focus on outside world, but we still have to come back to ourselves and focus on that too eventually.
Yeah,
It's a must.
very true. All right. So I have a question for you. Favorite country in Asia?
Ah, many of them.
If you had to pick one that you would say, let's go there right now, which one would it be?
I don't know. I would love to go back to China. I lived there and it's so like underrated. When people think about China, they might think about factories or like politics or something, but there's so much culture, so much beauty, so much nature, incredible, beautiful. I'm fascinated how rich the culture is, the people, the food. There are so many places to explore, and I went to some, but it's limitless. I went to Shaolin Temple to learn Kung Fu, to train with monks. Like that was such a unique experience as well, and tough. And
So cool.
I went to some crazy mountains, where we got idea to Avatar. It's really like Avatar, just like not hanging in the air. These mountains are actually there many fascinating places.
Definitely a beautiful country with lots of things to check out. And that's why you hope in the world that we can come to some sort of way for everybody to coexist. It's 2025, the notion that we're still fighting wars or not supplying clean water to people. There's so many things that we could be doing that are so good for the world, good for people. It's almost
Yeah,
hard to imagine, right?
it's hard to believe what's happening. It's really hard to believe.
Yeah. But at the same time, I feel like there's also this opportunity for, I don't know, I feel like we're on the cusp of a breakthrough. It's so easy to slip into the negative.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we're bombarded with it everywhere.
We are.
You know?
We are. And the thing with fulfillment, happiness, content, it's our baseline, and the get used to that to the point that we don't see that magic around us anymore because it's our baseline, because magic and joy is in every little moment, in a cup of coffee, in like everywhere, in a butterfly, in a bird song. And because it's the world, life is so full of these moments, we don't see that anymore. And then our primal brain, reptilian brain, its job is to focus on dangers to protect us. So when we are bombarded by media, by all this information, and of course we focus on that, and we are always in this stress mode, and we even forget the beauty outside that.
Yeah. Seems like everybody's stressed out.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many tools, and there always been tools. We are not the first. Like, yes, we are bombarded excessively nowadays, but it's not that people didn't get into those loops ages ago, but they had tools, and we still have same tools, being in nature, being still, not distracting yourself, sitting with yourself, sitting with your thoughts, your feelings. For some people, it can be meditation. For some people, it doesn't work. Some people need active meditation. Maybe it's running, maybe something, same weightlifting. I've been saying, yes, it's isolated muscle exercise, but then it's so meditative as well. It's huge benefits. Cardio, like all cardio activity, can really clear your mind. So we just became a little bit too lazy, and we are not doing these things enough when we really need those. People say now, oh, I'll go to visit nature, as nature is something we go to visit. It's part of us. Like, we came from nature. We are not concrete and buildings and technology. We are nature. We came this way. So we just currently going through this collective detachment from what we truly are. So I invite everyone to really come back, to reconnect, to find yourself and find that peace. Because yes, our brain can get on fire, and these physical stressors, they add up a lot. Like now, some days I feel like a little bit of anxiety, and I can distinguish so clearly that it's physical. It came from symptoms. Probably I ate something, my body's too sensitive right now. And that food sensitivity translated as physical anxiety. So I just learned how to distinguish it and how to know when, what caused, and then what tools you can use for that.
Powerful. One thing I would like to ask you is something I ask a lot. Could you give me one peptide that you feel nobody's talking about but you love for any reason?
Oh, I mean, everyone, I'm in this world, so for me, it feels like everyone is talking about each of them.
Yeah.
Um,
But what's the one that you like? I mean, we could talk about Hepatalon, we could talk about thymosin, we could talk about.
I would say GHKCU. People label it as a beauty hormone, but it's really my guy friends. They are so happy with hair growth, with skin, with everything. And it's not only, for women, or not only beauty, it also contributes to like all that tissue repair and other processes, but you could see the effects. Like, you can see the glow. So
Just hurts like heck when you inject it, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, no, it's copper is big stuff. I mean,
yeah.
yeah. That's a good one. Any other one you want to mention?
In my world, in chronic illness world, is KPV. KPV is everything. It's anti-inflammatory. People with chronic inflammatory response syndrome, they have low MSH, melanocyte stimulating hormone, and KPV is actually a fragment of that. So it gives you what your body is missing. It can support it while you're healing from the impacts of mold. It regulates your mast cells, anti-inflammatory, immune system regulating. It's amazing.
So KPV, what about KPV from a trauma standpoint? Is that something that is good?
From trauma?
From a trauma standpoint?
Physical trauma.
Yeah.
it would be more than BPC 157 for repair, for tissue repair.
So if you're using BPC 157 in combination with thymosin beta 4 for somebody who overtrains,
Yeah.
you think KPV is a more potent version of than BPC 157 for just general like gym recovery?
I wouldn't choose KPV for gym recovery per se. If you have some of inflammation that is slowing down your gym recovery, then yes.
Like a twisted ankle or something.
Yeah. Then BPC 157.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. What do you think about hyperbaric oxygen therapy?
It's incredible. It's one of the only few things that actually been studied to show that it has such great effect on longevity, reversing aging. I'm thinking to buy one for home use because you need many sessions. 10 sessions, 30 sessions won't do much. So you have to, you have to commute. It's time, it's a commitment. So having it at home really helps. Here in the US, it's so much easier because people can rent. So if you want to do, a protocol for a month or two, every day, you just rent it. It's so much better. And then you don't need to keep something bulky in your living room anymore once you decide that you are done with it. Because you're not going to do it for an entire year every day, You'll do maybe 2 months and then another couple months.
The funny thing is, when I go in and I do a session, I can't have my phone. So I'm in, at like 2.4 atmospheres.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's an hour and a half of basically total digital detox. And I find that is so potent, so powerful just to be away from that. And it can really slow down. I meditate. Sometimes I just fall asleep. It's weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I'm really tired.
Right. I also use that time to slow down or to meditate. Unless it's not a seated one, but a lay down one, then I fall asleep. Yeah.
Yeah. Then you get into that chamber and it's like, once you reach, I can fall asleep. It's kind of like I can fall asleep on an airplane, right? Before we take off, I'm out. But in the chamber, it's like before I'm so used to, regulating the pressure in my ears. And, the first time they ask me, have you ever been, how deep have you gone diving? I'm like, this is going to be easy. Right. So, basically you go in and all of a sudden you're just like, it's really blissful. Since we started recording, my thing has been beeping nonstop, going crazy.
Apple Watch lasted one message on my wrist. The first message I got, this buzzing, I'm like, never, I'm not wearing this. That's it. It's still in my drawer.
And what do you think about that too? Also, all of this tracking. And when I first got my Apple Watch, I was like, oh, this is the coolest thing ever. And I was like setting all these goals and I was really into it. And I was like making sure. And then over time, I'm like,
Yeah, but that's why you have to do it short term intentionally. You track yourself for a week or two, you make conclusion, you adjust your habits, and then you track again yourself maybe after 4 months or 6 months, Same with continuous glucose monitor. You don't wear it all year round. You wear it for 12 days or a week, and you see what's working for you, what's not in your diet. You make adjustments, and then you don't wear it until the next time you feel like you need to tune in again. So it's great for short-term use intentionally. I don't like any devices on me, tracking devices, because of everything. We can go deeper in that, but I don't know, there's so much we don't know. It's emitting green light to your meridians, very important meridians. It's still a stimulation, and there are so many other things.
Yeah, that it is weird to think that you've got a 5G connection on your wrist with emitting green light.
Yeah, constantly to very sensitive points in your body.
Yeah, that is really true.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the CGM. So you'd advocate for anybody just to do a CGM and track how they, because some people, there's so many different diets, right? I mean, there are people that are like keto, they're carnivore, there's Mediterranean, there's all of these things. Do you feel like it's important for you to figure out which foods actually work for you as an individual?
Well, if you don't have health issues, complaints, and you're eating relatively clean and healthy diet, then I wouldn't worry now because we are bombarded with all the marketing. They try to convince you that you need this, you need tracking, you need this. I think people need to relax more. It's really the longevity is more in not necessarily in overdoing and over tracking and losing your mind in this game of like staying forever young. But if you have symptoms, if you have sugar crashes, if you're feeling weak after meals, tired, if you're snacking, feeling worse afterwards, you don't know what to snack on, you don't know how your body responds, you feel weird after your naps, you wake up in the middle of the night, it can really give you a lot of information. Like, it's very common that people who wake up, let's say, from 2 to 3 o'clock in the middle of the night, it's because they have this dip in the blood sugar and glucose. So it's interesting to see that what's waking you up, and then maybe like a light protein snack before going to sleep would help you to avoid that crash. So it can be super super informative.
Let me ask you a question about that, because that happens to me all the time. Could you take essential, those, I don't want to name the brand because I'm not here to endorse any one particular brand, but there is one brand and they say that is the perfect combination of amino acids, essential amino acids. Could you take that in replacement of that in the notion that it might digest slower and give you a more steady stream, or is that something that you test with a CGM?
For that particular product, I don't know, we should look into caloric value.
It's they say it's no calories.
But I always choose whole foods for that to prevent that crash. You may want some chicken breast or something organic, clean, just a little bit of it to avoid that crash. But the root cause, again, it's not that you are lacking a chicken breast before sleep. The root cause is probably stress. And it's very common also for people, including me. It was a case where I didn't even know I'm stressing. It's a hidden stress. Where on the surface you're chill, everything is good. Everyone who knows me, they think I'm really chill, but it's a hidden stress. So it's just a different mechanism.
Was that coming from the Lyme and the mold toxicity, the sin stress?
There was a physical aspect where was probably also a psychological aspect, putting so much pressure on myself, demanding from myself to perform, to do things, all of that.
Yeah, you know what? That's maybe a good place for us to kind of wrap up in the last topic to talk about, which is the intense stress that peak performers put on themselves, and these peaks and valleys that we go through. I see it you're trying to get up, and then a lot of it's not sustainable. You're pushing so hard, it's not sustainable to operate at that level forever. So, you're coming back down, and then you're trying to find your way back up to the top. That can be pretty intense on people. It sounds to me like you've found a way to sort of mitigate that in your process and come to a place of real peace and still achieve at the same time.
Yeah, it's redefining what peak performance is to you. It means to you. In society, it's usually people understand it as productivity, producing more and more outcomes. But for me, peak performance is not about that. It's really doing things from your heart at peace, not sacrificing your health. That's a peak performance, when you can still be healthy, fulfilled, when you can still have a happy relationship with your family members, with your friends, with yourself, your community, everyone. So it's not only producing, it's being at peace, acceptance, going at your own pace, not what someone else said or did, and what matters. That, we don't want to wear ourselves down to a grave, to, that uh, our family members don't even see us in a process while we are producing something. It's redefining what makes you feel fulfilled and content, and you can still be very productive and produce a lot when you do it from a right place, when it doesn't wear you out.
Mhm.
But it's a process. It comes through trial and error and learning. And beginning is, I don't know, people for who beginning was like easy and chill. It's always peaks and valleys, ups and downs. And then later you kind of find a way that works for you personally.
Or you don't.
Or you don't. You burn and you burn.
Which is true. We see it every day, right? There are people out there that never figured out what exactly worked for them.
Right.
Consequently, they're in a kind of a difficult situation.
Right. So it's blessing in disguise being more sensitive person, because we feel the downside of pushing too hard sooner. So we see consequences sooner. A lot of people who are not that sensitive physically or emotionally, they push hard and they don't feel any side effects of that until they break down, until it's like, I don't know. It can be any time in your life, 40, 65 years old, and when some illness, some autoimmune condition, something severe, and then that's really difficult to repair.
Well, parting thoughts? Anything you want to share before we go?
Okay, one thing I really want to say, it's not only for people to always advocate for your own health, but one thing that's really close to my heart is, as a doctors, how can we do better? How can we get rid and put aside this medical arrogance? How can we step out of this thinking that we have to know everything and admit that science is constantly changing? It's impossible to know everything, that medicine is not black and white. There are so many nuances. And just to be more open-minded, it really hurts me seeing practitioners who become very close-minded and don't accept other information and other thinking, and they think that way is the only way, their way is the only way. I really encourage more humility to bring in the work we do, and be more open-minded. I admire science, and it's reading scientific studies. It's part of my daily life. But same, I admire frequency medicine, everything what it's still very hard for the brain to comprehend. But when you see that it works, it's miracles happening with all these other methods as well. Frequencies, light, vibration, and muscle testing, how much our body can provide, how much information. So yeah, that's my invitation, just to be more open-minded, get rid of this medical arrogance, because I think it's a collective issue the world is experiencing. That's what I wanted to share.
That's pretty profound. I don't think I've heard anybody say that in all the years of being in healthcare. So, well, it's been a pleasure to have you here, and I look forward to having you come back. When you come back,
Love that.
we'll have tons to we'll go over all sorts of things. It'll be really interesting.
There is more to unwrap for sure. Yeah. Such a pleasure. Such a nice conversation.
Really,
thank you.
Thank you. Hey, thanks everyone for watching the show. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps us out here at the channel, and share the video with someone who might be interested in supporting the charity that our guest mentioned in the episode. Thanks again. We'll see you soon.